Hi there, are you ready for some more campfire classics? Well, luckily for you, Big Neville's always got your back when it comes to campfire stories. First up, we got The Woodsman. A little story my dad used to tell me to try and keep me out of going in the forest. It never worked, obviously. Don't you venture too far into the woods, young man. And don't stay in there too late. Because in the heart of the forest, under the tallest oak tree, stands a giant log cabin. The occupant of this cabin, the woodsman as he's known, is almost 10 feet tall and built like a wall. His muscles are bulging, veins popping out. He spends his days ripping trees from the ground with his bare hands to use for lumber. And the rest of the day, he sleeps away, for on a night is his hunting time. He'll patrol his territory, and anything that he deems food, he will hunt it down. He'll sniff it out with his extrasensory nose, and when he catches a scent, he will drop down on all fours and hunt it down like an animal. When he's had his fill, anything else he finds that he deems as prey on his patrol, he will bag it for a later meal. And that means you'll be locked in the dungeon in the basement of his log cabin until he's ready to feast. So if you are in the woods for whatever reason, hopefully it's not night time, and you see some disturbance in the distance, it's likely it's the woodsman. Get out of there as fast as you can, because you don't want to end up in the woodsman's bag, to be the woodsman's dinner, to be tortured until it's time to feast. It's not something I would relish the thought of, like. Beady green eyes staring at you through the bars of your cage, poking you, knowing that you're going to get eaten. Well, it doesn't sound good to me. What sounds good to me is not playing in the forest. I think you'll agree. And that's the end of The Woodsman. This next one's a bit of a weird one for a camping story. Well, at least for on the campfire anyway. And then I'll tell you a little camping story like last time. There's a spot along this valley somewhere up on the moors, where time just seems to stand still when you get there. All manners of enchanted creatures live there. Fairies, goblins, sprites, that kind of thing. Anything that enters the enchanted realm just doesn't seem to age at all. There's a beautiful dreamlike scenery with unique wildlife and a beautiful soothing melody playing constantly. Right about now you're thinking, how's this a scary campfire story? This place sounds awesome, how do I get there? Yeah, you just wait and see. Yeah, this place would seem like a dream, except once you're there, the occupants don't want to let you out. They want to keep you there like slaves, under their control. The sweet melody they play keeps you in a hypnotic state, like a half dream. That way they can feed off of your emotions. The goblins venture out, sometimes on a night time, and steal little kids from the campsites. Take back so they've got fresh minds to drain for food, isn't it? You eat it like food, the emotions in your dreams. Anyway, you can't really get back out once you're there. Also, the fairies put spells on unsuspecting travellers, trying to beckon them into the area, so get them in the realm so they've got more. They use them like batteries, I guess. Anyway, once you're in there, there's no return. They'll keep you there as a slave under their control and drain you for all eternity if they can. And anyway, even if you do make it out by some strange occurrence, what you gonna do? 1 minute in there is like a year out here. If you spend 10 minutes in there, you're gonna come out 10 years later. Nobody knows how long you've been in there. Once you get out the enchantment, it could have been 1,000 years out here. Everybody could be gone. So, unless you want to slip out of existence and drift away into Never Everland, I suggest if you hear any music on the moors, or you see any strange looking fairy thing, do not follow them. Do not go looking for the music. Could be the gateway to Neverland. And unless you want to be drained like some kind of dream battery for the all of existence, stay away. I definitely will be. And that's the end of Neverland. Well, I said I'd tell you a little camping story from me dad, so... There was this one time, he said he'd seen some black. He said it looked like a cat. I wasn't there at the time, but he'd come back from getting some wood, I think it was. And he said he'd seen this while he was collecting the wood. But then, as he was telling me, he proceeded to tell me this other story. He said, it could be one of them panthers, you know. Back in the day, all the lords and the earls of all of the lands, they used to keep exotic pets to show off their power. But in 1976, the government put a ban on this. So some of them, instead of paying to get rid of the pets, they just set them free into the wild. There was me, about 11-year-old, like, what kind of animals, Dad? What kind of pets did they have? It's like, oh, they had panthers and tigers, bears and even elephants. Son, they had all kinds. But some of them just didn't want to pay to get rid of them, so they just set them off into the boors or into the forests. Said, so you need to watch out when you're out there. Said, because there could be panthers. A lot of them kept panthers. Apparently panthers were one of the special ones, the ones that were really sought after. Black panthers. So it could have been one of those. Anyway, I wasn't sticking around to find out. He said it was way up the hill and I wasn't stopping that. We'll go collecting wood up the other side tonight, alright? So when you go up there. And obviously I wasn't allowed to go anywhere near that light. But yeah, was he telling me lies? I mean, look up this. There is cases since the 1980s of big cats apparently on the moors. Maybe it's not an absolute fabrication. I don't know. You tell me. My dad was always trying to scare me when we were camping. Like the time he pretended to disappear in the middle of the night. I heard walking around my tent, and it was loud enough to wake me up. I was only about 10-year-old though. I just got my first tent. I'd been pestering him all year because I was sick of sleeping with him in the same tent. Every year when I was a kid, I used to sleep with him in this 2-man tent. I think it was a 2-man tent. It seemed really small when I was a kid. And he snored really badly. So I'd been pestering him all year to get me a tent of my own. So he got me this little tent, like a little kid's tent. I'm sleeping in this tent and I can hear these footsteps wake me up from outside of the tent, walking around. So I was in the tent and it's my dad, but there's no one there. It was him obviously, but he was hiding down the side of the riverbank, which was a couple of feet away from where we pitched the tents at. So I zipped the tent back up and I'm back in the tent and I'm laid back down in my bed. And I hear these walking footsteps again, nothing in. Must be my dad, so I open the tent, there's no one there again. So it was to my dad's tent now. Well, zip unzips the tent, he's not in there. I'm stepping in, but where is he? I'm only like 10-year-old, so I'm like, where is he? So I'm pulling this back in the tent. Got me torch on. I was sitting there in my tent. I can hear footsteps walking around the tent again. So I need to be dad again, so I open the tent, there's nobody there again, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I'm getting really scared now. Let's get back in the tent. I shut the tent off. No, go back in my bed. But I'm like underneath the quilt. And I'm like looking around. And I hear these footsteps again. So I put my head in the sleeping bag. And I can hear the tent. I can hear the zip start unzipping. So I start screaming and then he pops his head in and goes boo. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time. He scared me. But he used to do stuff like that all the time. We were in the river one time, he pretended to drown. He just pretended to drown. He just went under the water and then swam off. And I was like, where's he? Where's he? Well, yeah, that's what he was like on especially on a night. I mean, when we were camping, he was always like out there trying to get me with something. But on a night, he was even worse. Yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, see ya.